Hello, everyone. So today I'd like to talk about the technology behind the Beyond Air LungFit technology, and this is pretty much the main focus of Beyond Air, stock ticker XAIR. And this is actually the thing that got me very interested in investing in Beyond Air. And first, I'm going to talk about the problem that they're trying to solve in producing this technology. And now I'm not going to go into the medicine, the medical aspect of this. I'm just going to go talk about um, the technology itself and the logistics. I'm going to go into the biology of nitric oxide therapy in a future video. But the one thing they talk about, or the one thing they're trying to solve in this with LungFit is the fact that to be able to bring nitric oxide therapy to patients, uh, traditionally is required. There's two situations. Either one, you have a massive cylinder full of nitric oxide, pressurized nitric oxide. And nitric oxide is a free radical. It actually decays over time. So you can imagine having something like that in a pressurized vessel. Over time, it'll eventually decay and expire and all that kind of stuff. And so you can imagine the logistics of being able to get nitric oxide to a hospital, having to switch out tanks all the time. Um, there's also specialized um, medical personnel that have to be able to administer this because of the um, just the fact that you have a big on demand um, tank full of nitric oxide that is being delivered to a patient. Now, you can imagine the logistics of having to reorder things all the time and having to make sure that everything's up to date and with this sort of system. There's another system that uses cartridges, and these are cartridges that essentially break down and produce nitric oxide on demand. However, there's some issues with the production of NO2, which is a nitrogen dioxide, which is actually a toxic gas, and um, you can imagine you don't exactly want to have that be an issue, and uh, essentially the potential of actually essentially poisoning your patient um, if something goes wrong with this technology. Now, so you have the cartridge and you have the canisters, right? Both of them are logistical problems because you have to either get the cartridges, which are smaller and easier to get to a place, or you have to get these big, bulky air tanks to a hospital. Now, with the LungFit technology that Beyond Air is developing and actually has working models in as of the last earnings call, over 50 hospitals. Like, this is a working product. It's not something that they're developing. They are developing other uses and methods and improvements in other systems, but this is a working product that's actually in hospitals already. Um, what it does is essentially it produces nitric oxide on demand from ambient air. And the way it does it is, I'm not going to get into this crazy engineering of it. I might make a future video on it, but essentially it uses electromagnetic energy, essentially like light, although I'm not sure exactly what the wavelengths are involved. I'd have to check that out. But essentially, it uses light to break down the O2 and the N2, and in the process produces nitric oxide, which is NO. Now, just to be clear, nitric oxide isn't the same thing as nitrous oxide. Nitrous oxide is laughing gas. That's the stuff that they use to like put you to sleep in a like to, for like a dentist or something. Nitric oxide is used for different respiratory issues, and um, I'll go into, there's other cancer applications, autism related applications as well. Again, I'm not going to go into the biomedical aspects of this right now, but in this video. But anyways, so it uses electromagnetic radiation, essentially light, of a certain wavelength to produce this nitric oxide. And in the process, of course, some uh, nitrogen dioxide is produced, and they have a filter which essentially the filters out that nitrogen dioxide and makes sure that it's only nitrous oxide that's or nitric oxide that's being produced. And in the process, there's many fail safes in place to ensure, um, essentially, if this thing fails, it just there's really no risk to the very minimal risk to the patient themselves. It just stops producing, and then you just you know swap out the machine. But what's really fascinating about this machine is the fact that it's really plug and play. You don't need a specialized technician to run it. Um, you you can deliver this essentially to any country, any place in the world that has that has a reliable electrical source. You plug it in, and it produces nitric oxide on demand, with no need to store anything, any supplies, no reorder. All you need is to just do general maintenance, and it kind of it produces it on its own. And that's I believe this is where the biggest market for this product is the fact that you can, or the biggest problem that they're solving. They're not solving um, nitric oxide therapy. It's existed for, I think there was a Nobel Prize awarded in the late 90s for the discovery of in this field. So it's been about 30 years or so, 20, 30 years. What they are solving is the logistical issues. The fact that um, if you're in a remote uh, place in Africa, let's say, you have a clinic and you need nitric oxide, it's going to be very difficult to keep and maintain a supply of nitric oxide tanks to be able to provide this service, provide these treatments. Or the cartridges, the same thing. It's a little easier because they're smaller, easier to transport, but again, you have the same issues of logistics. And where here, all you have to do is deliver the product, and that's it. You deliver the machine and plug it in. So all you need is a power source. And what's really good about this is the fact that because it's on demand, without the need for cartridges or tanks, um, Beyond Air is actually developing a home version that can actually be given to patients to take home and use themselves, rather than having to go in for treatments. And again, uh, it's solving a problem. It's now you're making it so that patients don't have to take time out of their day just to go to the hospital, get their treatment, come back, all of their logistics involved with that. Where now with this thing, um, if they get it approved for home use, you pretty much have um, a huge market for this sort of thing, for this sort of treatment at home, and it just makes things even better for the delivery of nitric oxide to patients. And that's pretty much that's why I decided to invest in this company and pretty much put my life savings into it. And just like to thanks everyone for watching, and uh, I'll go into the details of the biochemistry behind it, how it affects immune system, and even how it affects tumors. One thing I haven't talked about is that they actually have a that Beyond Air actually has a subsidiary, like a spin-off company that they own, that is devoted only to cancer research and using nitric oxide as a way to provide very specific cancer treatments. And that's another aspect of this company that's really fascinating. Along with there's another spin-off company that's focused on autism treatments for autism, not necessarily curing it or anything, curing because it's not necessarily something that needs to be cured, but to treat the symptoms that are related to it. But again, that's something that's in the future. They're doing human trials and all that stuff. That's the main focus of the main parent company Beyond Air is the LungFit devices, trying to develop the home version of the LungFit device for home treatments, and pretty much that's it. And I think it's very fascinating, and I want to be a part of this journey, and hopefully the earnings call comes soon, in a pretty much in about a week, and we'll see how well they've been doing since their last earnings call. Thank you.